Everyone knows an alpha male when you see one. They're cool, they're confident, they walk into a room and everybody stops and notices. When they speak, other guys listen. Guys want to hang out with them, women want to go out with them. They're alpha males. An alpha male has certain unmistakable characteristics. A natural leader, he is a pack builder. He leads, provides for, and protects his pack, whether that's his significant other, his buddies, his teammates, and so on. The changing world presents a continuing opportunity for an alpha male. Where other guys see change as crisis, an alpha male is in his natural element. He continuously observes cause and effect and turns every opportunity to the advantage of his pack. He loves to win and is good at it. The alpha male is unconcerned with his image. He just goes about winning the game at hand, whatever it may be, and others follow. They copy his style, speech, and look. An alpha male never copies anyone else. They are often laid back until there is a need for action. An alpha male is fearless in a necessary fight, and he's the best leader of men that there is. But there are some things an alpha male never does, and if you find yourself ever doing anything on this list, well, that means you are most definitely not an alpha male. So let's jump right in with our list of the 10 dead certain giveaways that you are not an alpha male. Number 10, you get her to pay for dinner. Listen up guys, number 10 in our list of signs that you are not an alpha male starts with an obvious one. It essentially just boils down to this one rule. If you ask your lady to pay for her own dinner, well, sorry, but you're not an alpha male. The reason is pretty simple really. An alpha male never takes advantage of other people and their kindness. He works hard to provide for himself and doesn't feel comfortable being in other people's debt. If an alpha's date tries to contribute, his first instinct is to calmly get the check and say, I got this. According to recent research, 77% of people in straight relationships still think that on a first date, it's the man who should pick up the tab. Now, when we're talking down the line in terms of a long-term relationship, then of course, it doesn't make you any less of an alpha if you start going Dutch on the bill. A good rule can be picking up the bill after a big dinner and letting your partner cover the tip. That way you both won't feel like you're taking advantage of the other. Coming in at number 9 on our overview of signs that you are not an alpha is the fact that you never apologize, even when you're dead wrong. See, the trouble is that when it comes to alphas, they have literally no hang-ups. An alpha would simply say, I was wrong, I apologize, if they realized they'd actually made an error. And then he sets out to identify where he made a mistake or slipped up and then quickly acts to rectify the problem as best he can using the means available to him. If you reflect back on your life or actions at work, can you ever recall a time where you apologized to someone else? If the answer is a quick no, well then, sorry buddy, but you are not an alpha male. It's all about being secure and confident in who you are, your ethics, your responsibilities, as well as having pride in your abilities and actions. It's only human to make mistakes, and only someone fully confident in who they are can own up to their moments of weakness and their mistakes. Sometimes the most alpha thing you can do in a situation is apologize and immediately try to fix it. The number 8 spot on our roundup of signs that you are not an alpha male is if you constantly catch yourself sucking up to leaders and seeking their approval. This can be your boss, your teacher or supervisor, or even your own father. An alpha male never sucks up to anyone, not even the President of the United States. In fact, in most situations, he is the leader. And when he isn't, he's respectful, but not afraid to speak his mind if the situation calls for it. He is 100% able to get behind another leader if the situation calls for it and do any work that he's set. But an alpha would never whine, complain, or try to weasel his way out of a situation by brown-nosing with authority figures. If and when he gets ahead, it's only through sheer determination, unflinching effort, and hard work, and not through buttering up the right people. If you want to start acting more alpha, stop sucking up and grow a spine. Sliding into the number 7 spot on our list of top 10 signs you might not be an alpha male is gossiping. Hanging out around the water cooler at work, spreading gossip about celebrities, your boss, your girlfriend, your friends, or even Hannah from accounting is not cool, and is definitely not something an alpha male would ever do. It might make you feel like you're bonding with coworkers, albeit superficially, and it might seem very easy to fall into when so many people seem to only be able to communicate with gossip. The truth is that no alpha male would ever find themselves laughing at other people's failings and weaknesses and pointing them out to others. Alphas never betray their packs, and they would never feel the need to belittle others either. Remember, a true alpha does not need to build himself up by tearing people down and standing on their broken backs. This counts for making fun of people who do enjoy gossiping. An alpha should always aim to take the higher road in a situation like that and inspire others to do the same thing. Number 6 on our list of top 10 signs you're not an alpha male is if you panic during a crisis. 3 simple questions you need to ask yourself honestly is, do you fluster easily? Is making split-second decisions under huge amounts of stress a big problem for you? Whether it's at work or in your personal life. Does the sheer thought of that scenario fill you with dread? Well, if any of the answers to those 3 questions is a resounding yes, well, sorry, but you're not an alpha. Let's face facts. An alpha male's natural element is change. He thrives and performs best in times of great upheaval. An environment with rapid change is simply an interesting challenge to him. He goes into a very focused state and is able to very quickly sum up the situation, does due diligence if time allows for it, and acts immediately and decisively based on prior experience. His heart rate might increase a little bit, but you'd best believe he's never scared. Next up, at number 5 on our top 10 countdown of signs that you are not an alpha male is one that probably applies to a lot of guys out there. It doesn't matter what the situation is or how quickly a response is actually required, far too often, guys act first and then think after. That's a perfect example of what an alpha will never do. An alpha male may act or react with lightning speed, but he always thinks before he takes action. He never runs off half-cocked and goes off in all directions. He knows that well-considered actions are the ones that bring positive results, not knee-jerk reactions that often end in less than desirable outcomes. By not taking the time to process your thoughts properly and thoroughly, you end up robbing yourself of the chance of making the right call. Alpha males understand the crucial importance of thinking through all actions before committing to one. That doesn't mean they won't ever make a mistake, but it sure does help prevent them. Taking the number 4 spot on our top 10 list of signs you might not be an alpha male is if you find yourself always blaming others. This could be for mistakes, slip-ups, or just for things never going your way. If there's one thing you need to know about alpha males, it's that they always take responsibility for their own actions. This means that even if they are going through a rough patch, either at home, work, with a family, friends, or a girlfriend, you can bet your bottom dollar that you'll never hear them pin any of it on others. He doesn't seek out excuses to make himself seem less culpable. Oh no. Instead, an alpha male knows that his hard work and persistence will eventually turn the tide in his favor. Blaming anybody but themselves would never even occur to an alpha male. They will always gladly take the blame and ownership for any shortcomings and strive to work on them. Coming in at 3rd on our top 10 list of telltale signs that you're most definitely not an alpha male is if you lie. We're talking about lying to your boss, to your buddies, to your girlfriend. This even includes lying to yourself. Most lies are probably told within inches of a mirror, and an alpha is always upfront to himself about everything. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Whilst an alpha male is many, many things, he definitely is not a liar. He's a stand-up guy and a straight shooter. He doesn't have to dig himself out of any mess he got himself into. Even little white lies can start to lead to other white lies, which lead to more lying, and before you know it, you're embroiled in a tangled web that you have no chance of ever undoing cleanly. Rather, an alpha will always aim to do what's right, and let the chips fall where they may. The key point to remember, just don't lie. Even white lies are strictly forbidden in the hands of a real-life alpha male. Always tell it like it is. People will ultimately respect you for it. Slipping into 2nd place on our top 10 list of signs that you're not an alpha male is if you betray others to get ahead. This goes the same for how an alpha would treat a lover, a business partner, a friend, colleagues, and even his family. Simply put, an alpha male never betrays a member of his pack, and he would never stab his coworkers or acquaintances in the back either. The name of the game for an alpha is to always make sure he's conducting himself in a gentlemanly manner. By following that simple rule, alphas get the respect they deserve from others. Moreover, being an honorable man and developing a reputation for being a loyal friend, coworker, etc. always ends up paying off for an alpha. Whatever benefits a man would have gotten from throwing others under the bus or betraying others to serve their own limited self-interest is nothing but a pittance to the positive results alphas enjoy by virtue of their moral code. Last but not least, our #1 spot on our roundup of signs that you are not an alpha male is that you bully people. It's pretty obvious that nobody really likes a bully, but most people are often too scared to stand up to them. There's also often a mistaken association that alphas are usually physically imposing and thus bullies themselves. The truth of the matter couldn't be more different. An alpha, while not necessarily the most physically intimidating figure, would never be afraid to take on a real fight when it's called for. But there's the rub. They would only do it if it were absolutely necessary, since they aren't exactly scrappers. But a true alpha won't think twice about taking on someone far bigger or stronger or better situated than he is if the matter being decided is serious enough. Due to an alpha's fierce drive, chances are good that he'll win. And if he doesn't, you can bet he won't blame his defeat on anyone else. One thing's for sure, a true alpha male would never bully anyone else.